It's okay, Auntie. Do you want me to get some clothes for you? No, it's fine. I'll just pop in and get them. I know where they are. Suffice to say, my heart was racing like a drummer on speed. She slowly crept in, holding her dressing gown closed as she found what she needed from her wardrobe and drawers. Watching carefully, I felt some relief once I realized that she never opened the drawers from which I had borrowed some of her best items from. All was not fine though, as I had left a drawer slightly open. She didn't seem to notice though. My aunt usually worked a couple of mornings a week. This morning was one of those. Lucky me, I thought to myself, as I neatly arranged the lingerie back into the drawers. I'll try some more on, in a bit, when the coast is clear. After my aunt had left for work on this bright and warm morning, I quickly finished my breakfast and jumped into the shower. Reviving myself under the powerful and generous shower, I could not stop thinking what to wear after I had dried myself off. As it was such a lovely day, I decided to try on some tan hold-ups and the laciest silky panties that I could find, in off-white. Unpeeling the tan hold-ups all the way up my legs, then standing up to admire myself in the mirror, I felt and looked just wonderful. I was lucky to have very little body hair, making my legs look very feminine in the hold-ups. Feeling brave, I decided to try on one of my aunt's floaty short summer dresses together with a pair of kitten heels. Standing in front of the mirror whilst parading and twirling was great fun. I look pretty good wearing this dress and shoes, I thought to myself. I could almost pass for a real lady. The thing is though, even wearing a dress on a warm summer's day is still quite hot when you are also wearing nylon on your legs of any kind. Feeling quite stuffy as well, I decided to brave it and walk up to the window and open it to let in some fresh air. I didn't realize it, but my aunt's neighbor to the rear was cutting his lawn and decided to look up at my window the exact time that I decided to pop it open. I put it down to imperfect timing on my behalf, as the elderly gentleman was walking his mower towards the window. However, knowing that he had seen me, caused a stirring, combined with a heavy pumping adrenaline-fueled heartbeat. It had turned me on. God, there was a thick pole holding my dress up to the horizontal. I went to the window again. This time I looked out, but stealthier. The elderly man had stopped cutting his lawn halfway through. I just caught the back of him disappearing in through his back door. I kept on looking for a few more minutes, then just as I was about to step away, I noticed a shadow move in a bedroom window which was opposite mine. It soon became apparent that it was the elderly gentleman getting himself into position, hopefully in order to watch a free show. My heart began to race again. Perhaps I should give him something to make his heart race a bit more, I thought to myself. I turned my back to the window and walked forward a bit, then I bent down to touch my toes, making sure my dress rode up to expose my lacy panties. My mind started to wander and fantasize about his reaction. What was he doing? Was he getting excited also? I paced up and down the room a few times, trying to make all my over-exaggerated moves to expose my underwear as natural as possible. Yeah, right. I was bursting, but I held it all together for a while, until, that is, I heard the lawnmower start up again. Well, that was that then. I didn't want to waste any more time, so I set about trying on as much of my aunt's clothing as possible. After about an hour, I sat on the bed dressed in what probably was my favorite so far, black teddy all-in-one with suspender straps holding up black stockings. By this stage I had discarded the dress, to show more profile of my cleavage, filled with tights of course. I looked great. My neighbor had finished cutting his grass and was sitting by his back door catching some of the last rays of sunshine, as clouds had started to gather overhead. I don't think that he could actually see me anymore as I was too far back in the room for his line of sight. I was getting beyond the point of no return though. I braved up again and decided to go to the window and open it a bit further, obliviously for some more air. Stretching to further open the casement, I puffed up my chest as much as possible to enhance my cleavage. He immediately looked up and sat up once he could adjust his eyes to the darker image of me in all my glory. This time he didn't head off inside, he just stayed where he was and fixed his eyes upon my room. I was desperate to give him another show of me in all of my femininity. I mean, did he know that I was actually of the male variety? None of that mattered to me now. I started off with doing several adjustments of my suspender belt with my leg hitched up on a chair. That seemed to keep him looking. I grabbed a lipstick from my aunt's room, then pretended to apply it to my lips whilst looking in the mirror close to my window. All of this was conducted at the same time as exposing my bum as much as possible, all encased in lacy black knickers. Finally, he went inside and perched himself once again in the room opposite. As the sun had moved around more in the sky, I could make out more features in his room, including him. He just sat there in a chair, meaning that the window sill height hid the lower part of his body. Really hot, and worked up by now, I proceeded with my show. This after working out that my window would block the lower half of me as I approached it from the other side of the room. I teased for a while, my hands running and caressing up and down my nylon-clad legs, and inching up and down my knickers. I was approaching bursting point, so I decided to go out with hopefully a hint of things to come later. I walked seductively to the far side of the room, hitched my thumbs onto my knicker elastic and slowly eased them down, until they dropped to my heels. Bending down, I then picked them up and held them so that he could see, and I then tossed them towards the window. I then slowly and as seductively as I could walked towards the window, trying to make sure that he was getting a good eyeful. Once I was in front of the glass, I stepped to one side, and let it all go. Playtime was now over for me. It was time to clear up before my aunt returned. From that day onward, the fascination of cross-dressing has remained the most exciting hobby to me. Well, this side of a glass of wine anyway.